Welcome back to Forward Progress, the Hammer Draft Series here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by Fanduel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Coach of the Year market. We're going to be drafting 6 coaches each. That's 24 coaches to win the Coach of the Year. And guess what? We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're staking $250 each. We're playing for $1,000. But if by any chance one of those 24 coaches do not win and the field wins, guess what? You have a chance to win $250. 4 of you in the comment section. All you have to do to be submitted into that prize pool is to comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then follow us on Twitter. So if you want a shot at $250, it's late in the season, you say, hey, I remember that Forward Progress video. Someone deep on the board is going to win who wasn't drafted. You can still comment then. So just make sure you do that. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you follow us on Twitter. Let's dive right into things. We randomized the draft order, and it went as follows. George, you got the first pick. Flup, second pick. Rob, third pick. I got the fourth pick, but wait, there's a trade to announce. George, you and I swap places. I get the first overall pick, so I get to start us off here. And I think a lot of people know why I wanted the first overall pick. It's because I get to watch my boy Caleb Williams all year, and I get to be giddy in my chair when he goes off. And just that offense looks beautiful because Ben Johnson is now in the fold. My first overall pick. I am taking the number 1 favorite on the board right now, Ben Johnson, to win Coach of the Year. I mean, all the pieces are there for him to win Coach of the Year. He's he's a new head coach coming into a team that didn't have the highest win total last year. They're projected to win around 8 games according to the odds board, but I see the upside being there. They have a good defense. This offense is going to be huge. He's going to be the guy to quote unquote revive Caleb Williams after the disaster that was last year. Give me Ben Johnson for the Chicago Bears for the first overall pick. Rob, you're nodding your head. Are you happy with that or no?
No, I just love how you speak in absolute certainties with everything. Like, this offense is going to be huge. Like, no probabilistic outcomes here. It's like every draft you're trading up to get whatever pick you can to get a piece of the Bears offense in some capacity. I think you're putting your eggs into one basket here, Jason. And at the end of the year, unfortunately, I think you're going to have to pay up because of it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pay up, but thanks to the Hammer Betting Network, they're sponsoring me for all these drafts because I've participated in every single one. I believe there's 9 of them. So 9 times $250. You guys do the math. If I don't win one,
$2,250.
It might not look good for the Hammer Betting Network there. But yeah, Rob, appreciate you free rolling me on these drafts. It means a lot to me. Flup, you're up next with the second overall pick.
I just want to say one thing. You know, my old mentor at the hedge fund that I was at said you should put your eggs in one basket and watch the basket closely. So I think Jason's doing an excellent job here.
But he can't get off. He can't really hedge his positions or anything like that. Like, he's in. He's just stuck with it now.
You know what? I'm going to ignore what you said there and just agree with Jason.
You know the guy who makes a Super Bowl script in his mind and then bets 75 props, all correlated to the same outcome. That's what Jason's fucking doing with all these drafts.
Well,
all I have to do is be right once.
I'm going with Mike Vrabel. I didn't think this would be a actual debate, but here we are in year 2. That would you start your team with Drake May or Caleb Williams? I think that's an actual decision. Obviously, Jaden Daniels would be the first quarterback taken, but I think it's a real decision, and I want a piece of Drake May. Mike Vrabel's set up. They were at a bad team last year with a good quarterback, and he'll get all the credit.
Yeah, fair enough. Love Mike Vrabel as a head coach. Seems to be one of those voodoo head coaches who can always just win. Like, I don't know what else to say. He can just win. And maybe the Model Bros can tell me why that is, but I still haven't figured that out. Rob, you kind of made a flag plant off air. You said, I want the third overall pick because the guy who I'm going to get there, I would take first. So who is that?
Well, I didn't say I would take him first. I think George said he would take him first. But I do think that the gap between the top guys, Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel, to Liam Cohen should be smaller, and maybe potentially the same odds. So I'm going to take Liam Cohen here. And obviously, you know, you look through the Coach of the Year market, there's tons of people who do this over the course of the offseason, and they go past 20, 25 years, and they kind of just build up like a resume of guys who are most likely to win. And Liam Cohen really fits that build for me. Like, this sets up as a great bounce back. If Jacksonville wins the South, which is completely viable within that division, they still have Trevor Lawrence, who could turn into a top-tier quarterback again, voters are going to credit the new voice that got in there, and that's Liam Cohen. So first-year head coach plus a strong possibility to win a division title, I think that's a strong combination for this type of award. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not going to knock either of your guys' picks. I think they kind of fall into the exact same category here, but I'm a little bit higher than market on the Jags this year, so I did want Liam Cohen in this spot.
All right, Liam Cohen goes to Rob here. And with those first 3 picks, it's the same kind of story where it's these high drafted quarterbacks with what we believe to be good head coaches who can maybe reshape and reform how we view these quarterbacks. George, I feel like after these 3 guys, it gets a little bit tough. So I'm curious. You wanted the 4th overall pick, so I'm curious who you're going to go back to back here. Let us know.
Yeah, I wanted to play a specific angle. I think the NFC West has a little bit more volatility than people make out. Like, I don't think Seattle and Arizona are quite bottom feeders. I also think the San Fran situation with all the weapons being hurt, it makes it a little bit murky. And then with Stafford's back, there's room where an Arizona or a Seattle end up winning the division, and the coach gets a lot of credit. Seattle because of the new situation and the new quarterback, and Gannon finally getting Kyler Murray over the top. So I'm gonna end up playing my angle, and I want both. I want both the coaches, Mike McDonald and Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, you made fun of me for saying that the Seahawks have a fat tail towards the upside, but I guess that was just game theory to try and get me not to pick the Seattle Seahawks for our most wins video. But anyways, that's besides the point. George, you got Mike McDaniel. George, you got Jonathan Gannon. 14-1, respectively. Yeah, I like those. I like both those picks. I think they're both great head coaches. You got a shot there if that division plays out like you just mentioned there. Up next is Rob with the second pick of the second pick of the second round. Who you got here?
Yeah, so I think if you're looking at odds boards, probably Aaron Glenn is the pick, but I'm going to leave that to Flup. I know it's his favorite team. He'll be, demoralized if I go with Aaron Glenn. I don't think, Flup, you have this on your radar, though, either, because we debated this team in the offseason, and I think the Raiders have a higher ceiling than Flup believes that they do. Really low baseline in the market right now. You got a Hall of Fame coach walking in the door. And I think if this team gets to 9 or 10 wins and looks composed in a lot of these high leverage spots, the credit is going to go directly to Pete Carroll. I mean, the story is immediate stabilization for this team. Plus, you look at the schedule that they play, and some people might use that against them, but wins over the Chiefs or the Broncos or the Chargers, those are big wins that help solidify you in the Coach of the Year race as well, especially if they come later on in the year. But I do think Geno Smith could be a really good fit in this offense. I think the offensive line is incredibly underrated. I love them at left tackle. I really love the left side of the offensive line. They moved Jackson Powers-Johnson now to guard. I think that's a pretty strong O-line that Geno Smith could hold up in, and they could run the ball pretty effectively behind that line as well. So I'm not saying they're going to win the division or anything, but I do believe that this team has higher upside than a lot of people are giving credit to. So I'm going to go with a guy that I don't love, but this is a narrative-based award. And if he rights the ship here, I think voters will be all over it. So I'm taking Pete Carroll and the Raiders.
Yeah, first year as head coach for the Raiders, like we mentioned it on some previous shows. A competent head coach there for the Raiders, which is a good change of scenery for them.
I honestly don't even know about that. But
well, okay, like an adult. Let's call him that. Like an adult in the room.
I'm not a Pete Carroll guy, but he is the type of guy that will garner votes if the Raiders have a good year. Like this is,
He might. I think for me, he's crept his way into like the way we view Mike Vrabel, and I guess to a lesser extent Mike Tomlin, where guy just knows how to like motivate a room and win some games. I think that's where he gets his big push from. Obviously, I love him. You guys know where he coached in college. But George, you're up next here. Flup, you're up next here. Who you got?
I'll take another pick.
No.
Flup has actually DM'd me on the side. He would like to postpone the rest of the draft. He'd like to wait for the outcome before he gets his next pick.
Okay. Well, I don't need to wait for the outcome because I already know it. I have an inside source. I'm going with Kyle Shanahan here. I know you'd expect me to go with Aaron Glenn, but instead of backing the worst team in the division, I'll back the best team in the division that also did poorly last year. And yes, obviously they did poorly last year because of injuries. They were still a great team. They just got brutalized with injuries. But this is a narrative-based award, as Rob has just mentioned. And I think boosting your win total from last year from 4 or 5 wins is super on the table. They're probably a favorite to do that. is going to play great in the narratives, and especially if Brock Purdy has another MVP-like season, he'll get votes, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. It's a good reason to, vote and kind of go for this award. As it seems like the guys who were able to boost their win total from the previous year are the ones who win. Rob, I cut you off there. Sorry about that.
No, I love it. I mean, I just drafted Brock Purdy in our fantasy pool that we're doing here at the Hammer. So I'm hoping for a big Brock Purdy year. And you guys know I'm big on the 49ers this year. Obviously, they got to stay healthy because they don't have a lot of depth on that team. But overall, I mean, I think that's a pretty quality squad. And again, like Flup said, 6 wins last year. They win the division, and that's like the redemption story. Kyle Shanahan turned it around. So I really like this pick a lot. Again, probably a little bit deeper down on the odds board, but I'm not sure how efficient this coach of the year market is.
Yeah, it's really anyone's game here. And I love that angle that you shot at there, Flup, where you mentioned the team wins, where you want to improve, right? Like a team that has lower wins from last year, big improvement this year. The problem is there's not that many teams out there who had very few wins, and I believe are going to make that big jump. So what I'm going to do is look who got second place votes last year, and that was Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell had 19 votes. Kevin O'Connell had 24. He was only short by 5 votes. And it was almost one of those things where it's like, hey, we knew Dan Campbell was good, but we want to reward him. And I want to go with Sean Payton for this award because I think we could see that case this year where it's almost like the 2 years of body of work that he's put up here might be good enough reason where he gets voted into the award. Now, he's going to have an incredible season with the Denver Broncos, but the Denver Broncos could legitimately be the best defense in the league. We could be seeing a crazy good defense here with how good their corner room is, with how good their scheme is, with how good their defensive line is. There's a lot of room to grow there. And hey, a lot of people were skeptical of Bo Nix last year, including myself, but he proved a lot of people wrong. And if we could see maybe a slight jump in his game this upcoming year, there's a good chance that that the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton could see themselves improve on their win total last year, maybe get 11, 12. Hey, crazy, even 13 wins, even if maybe Patrick Mahomes gets injured, something falls off there. If they win the division, this is a good case, I think, for Sean Payton to win the awards. Maybe I'm shooting for second place here, and that might be a big mistake. But for my next pick, I'm going to take Sean Payton.
Well, you notice how when Jason talks about Sean Payton, now he's back to like the probabilistic mindset, right? Like if this happens. But when he talks about the Bears and Ben Johnson, it's when they win the division, which I find pretty hysterical when he breaks these games down. Also, just want to note, he thanked you, Flup, for a good angle shot is what he said there as well, which again, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, he said it was a good angle you shot at. I don't know if that was like he meant to say it or not, but it seemed like he was taking a little bit.
Hey, if you're not angle shooting, you're not trying. That's the words I live by.
Yeah, it was a Freudian slip. My bad. I didn't mean it in terms of angle shooting. I'm just saying the angle that you looked at things was a good shot. Anyways, let's recap the board here after the second round. I was able to get Ben Johnson, Sean Payton. Flup, you're able to get Mike Vrabel, Kyle Shanahan. Rob, you got Liam Cohen and Pete Carroll. And then George, you picked Jonathan Gannon and Mike McDonald. Before we get into the next round, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at Fanduel. It might be the offseason, but if you want to bet on NFL futures, Fanduel is the place to go for that action. They have tons of futures at FanDuel Sportsbook, including player award props like MVP, season leaders in passing, rushing, and receiving, season-long receiving props, rushing props, passing props, and so much more. They also have team futures. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to win their respective conference, their division? At what stage will each team be eliminated? They also have win totals, including alt win totals. And guess what? You can parlay them all together. The excitement for something new goes live at FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/forward progress to download America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/forward progress. This next one is a little tough for me. I really thought I was going to get one of Kyle Shanahan or Pete Carroll down here. I don't like the guys at the top end of the board because I just don't see them winning enough games to really winning Coach of the Year. So I'm going to get the guy. I'm going to get the guy who's voted for second place last year. I'm going to go for Dan Campbell. I've been down on the Lions all offseason. The coordinator shuffle, I'm not a fan of. listen, they lost their both their offensive and defensive coordinator. It's going to be a big adjustment for them. But if they're able to win the division again, there's nothing stopping, I think, Dan Campbell from winning this award because he's proven to everyone, all the doubters, that he really is a good head coach. I think everyone truly believes that he's a good head coach, but he's passed every single test so far. And if he passes this final test, it'll almost be, like I mentioned for Sean Payton, a career award where it's like, look at the body of work he's done the past couple of years. And I think, you know what? As a writer, I feel like he's earned this award. He deserves this award on his resume. So Dan Campbell, I'm going to take him to win Coach of the Year.
Plus, Jason, you're not factoring in the impact of losing both his coordinators. If Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson look really bad where they go, and Dan Campbell looks really good, it like gives him a double weight that he was the guy who did it all.
Yeah, what you guys are also not factoring in, though, is that GRP bet Dan Campbell Coach of the Year as well. So this one is pretty much dead. I would put this at near 0% at this point, especially with the amount of victory lapping he's done with the price that he's gotten this offseason.
All right, well, 22-1 at the current time on Fanduel if you like that angle, but if not, maybe stay away. Flup. You're up next. Second pick.
Well, as a fan of angles, I'm going to go with Aaron Glenn, and I think the angle here is pretty obvious. Big market, new team, bad record. He gets all the credit. Look, I don't want to have to do it. I am a Jets fan. I want to support the team. Yeah, I need him to win 8 or 9 games to have a shot. Realistically, 9 games to have a shot here. It's unlikely. It's probably plus 600 at the very minimum that they get 9 games. But if they do, I'm live.
All right, I love it. It's like you're a Jets fan and you really need them to win games for your sanity, let alone this draft. I mean, good luck with Justin Fields. I don't know what to say with that. Aaron Glenn going over to Flup. Rob, you have the 3rd pick of the 3rd round. Who you got?
You know what? I always love having a piece of the Carolina Panthers. This is for my boy, Eric Eager, best VP of analytics in the entire league, taking that organization to a new level. Obviously, Dave Canales is going to get the credit instead of Eric Eager, although we know that it should be Eager getting the credit if they make the playoffs this year. But, I mean, listen, the path is pretty simple. Carolina ended the year well last year. They could easily flirt with the NFC South. If Bryce Young's year 2 or year 3 now looks like the end of year 2, I mean, they're in the mix. And you look at FanDuel, odds to make the playoffs, Carolina's plus 260 at this moment. That's an implied probability of 27.8%. You strip out the VIG, they're probably like 1-4 to make the playoffs. If they do, Canales is in the conversation here. So I don't think this is that far of a reach. And we're in the 3rd round of the draft. So give me Dave Canales, keep pounding with the Carolina Panthers.
All right, Dave Canales going over to Rob. George, you get the back-to-back spot. Now, unfortunately, you cannot fully corner the NFC West division here because Flup took Kyle Shanahan, but you're going to look to get the last guy there and corner that market?
I'm going to say a few things. Number one, having both you and Flup in the same draft together, first time I'm working with both of you, I'm regretting the team that I drafted in Circa right now because some of the analysis, I don't know about you guys, but this award has always been a wins above expectation, not wins based off last year's record. Is anybody shocked if Kyle Shanahan wins 10 wins again? That's not what I'm aiming for. Teams in the team total win from 6 to 8.5, and then hoping they get to 10 or 11 wins. That's what this award has always been. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the heck these picks have been. Speaking of probable outcomes, the two of you picking has really increased mine and Rob's probability of winning this video here. All that being said, I'm gonna go with that same young narrative of like young quarterback, elevate them. I'm gonna start with Raheem Morris and the Atlanta Falcons. I think if they can get to 10, 11 wins and win that division, I think he's going to get a ton of credit for it. And then I said in a previous video, I said, what if this guy is just like the second coming of all mother of quarterbacks? And I said, you know what? They had the worst record in football. If the Titans in a soft division get to 7 or 8 wins, it's going to be very hard for this guy not to win the award. So I'm going to go with Brian Callahan here.
All right, yeah. Raheem Hort.
Yeah, I just wonder about with Brian Callahan how much credit he would actually get versus Cam Ward, right? I knew you were going to go there, George. You're so predictable. There's no doubt you were taking.
Listen, they're at 5.5 wins, and I'm like, I thought first of all, I like the number over. I'm like, if they get to that, if they win the division, it's a wrap. There's no way he's not winning the award.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Dan Campbell's gonna have to do to win this. Like he won 15 games last year. Is he got to go perfect for them to win? What was that pick?
All right, George. All right. You don't have to take me down to build yourself up.
It's about wins above expected, not last year's results, George.
Yeah.
You don't make any sense.
You're contradicting yourself.
No, they're at 5.5 wins. But you guys are like, yeah, if Kyle Shanahan gets to 10 wins, which is like their win total, he's going to win the award. In what?
I never said he will. I said he'll be live. I mean,
what does live mean?
Yeah, everyone's live starting the year, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Listen, if I had to pick a team right now, it wouldn't be George's. So that's all I'll throw out there. Jonathan Gannon, Mike McDonald, Raheem Morris, Brian Callahan. You need teams to actually win games. You know that, right? Like they have to win.
You're the biggest Seattle Seahawks stan on the entire planet going into the year, and you're not telling me you don't like his Mike McDonald pick?
Yeah, obviously I like the Mike McDonald pick, but other than that, I don't like his team. Anyways, we can chat about this for a long time, but we got a draft to do. Rob, you're up next.
It's for sure on me.
For sure on you.
Okay, I was just stalling a little bit there, trying to decide what I wanted to do here.
Brian Schottenheimer is still available, by the way.
No, here's what there was some big news that dropped. I don't know when this is being released, but dropped a couple days ago. And there's one coach in the NFL that just dropped his nuts on the table and said, "I am done with this loser quarterback, Anthony Richardson. I am going with Daniel Jones." Now, do I think Daniel Jones is good? No, but we did a video earlier in the year where I think Shane Steichen is a very good offensive mind, and Anthony Richardson, he just can't throw a forward pass. Like, the guy is so inaccurate. Put a quarterback in that system that could actually make a throw here or there. They have a fighting chance, and he'll get a ton of credit if the Colts end up making the playoffs and Daniel Jones ends up returning to that form where the Giants made the playoffs a few years ago. So I think of all the remaining options here, this is another one of those teams that George has outlined that's not considered a team that will make the playoffs, but they play in a division where anything could happen, really. And they have a coach who's taken a stance to start the year and kind of gone against the grain, receiving a lot of flack for not sticking with the guy that they can develop. So could easily be fired this year, but he also has a chance to win Coach of the Year. His range is that wide. So I think at this point in the draft, I'm going with Shane Steichen.
All right, Flup, you said someone told you to put all your eggs in one basket. I'm happy Rob has put all his eggs in the Daniel Jones basket of all fucking baskets. But hey, we're here now. Flup, you're up next. Who you got?
I just find it interesting that Rob's analysis was he put his nuts on the table. It really was he's desperate that he's scared he's going to get fired because he will get fired.
Yeah,
that's not putting your nuts on the table. I'm going to go with a coach that has no chance of getting fired, Brian Schottenheimer. I don't think he'll make it back to me in the come around, and I know Rob wants him, so that's an extra joy for me.
If we drafted 30, if we were drafting the entire league, I might take him in the last round, Flup. I might have taken Schottenheimer right at the end.
That's ridiculous. They didn't do well last year. I don't know what George is talking about.
I like this pick. I think there's no expectations. I like this pick.
What do you mean there's no expectations? He's got like a median win total. Like, there is reasonable expectations. The nice thing with Brian Schottenheimer, in my opinion, is he doesn't need to win a division to win Coach of the Year. I will admit Kyle Shanahan needs to win the division to win Coach of the Year. Brian Schottenheimer can easily just sneak into the playoffs with a 10-7 or 11-6 record and win Coach of the Year. He's got a great quarterback in Dak Prescott. I'm pretty high on Dak. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. They still have CeeDee Lamb and arguably a top 3 receiver in the league. His offense will be cooking, and he'll get a lot of credit for it. And I think he's got a good shot.
All right. Brian Schottenheimer picked up for Mr. Flup. No lied. Now it's to me, back to back. And it's going to go with a guy who I've kind of talked a little bit about this offseason. I mentioned him very early on in the offseason as a potential guy I like to win Coach of the Year because I feel like he checks all the boxes in terms of low win total last season. I hope and I believe that he has a chance to outperform – this team has a chance to outperform his win total this year as the expectations are so low. Plus, on top of that, what I've seen from training camp and preseason, I have ever so slightly more faith in their quarterback situation. I'm going to go with Brian Dable on the New York Giants here. I mean, The biggest thing holding them back is their quarterback. If they can figure that out, we've seen Dayball and his ability to be an offensive mind, an offensive play caller, and elevate his offense. This defense is as scary as can be. If they can just manage their way into 7-8 wins, I really think this is a clear shot for Brian Daboll to win Coach of the Year. And listen, they have 2 kicks at the can here. Okay, they have 2 kicks.
7-8 wins ain't winning Coach of the Year.
9 wins. Let's go. Maybe if they make the flirt with the playoffs. Let's see them flirt with the playoffs and turn things around. Because really, last year there were calls for him to be fired. If he can turn the ship around, I think there's a chance for him to win Coach of the Year. So yeah, Brian Daboll and the New York Jets for me. It's my.
I like that shout. There. You know, remember that bad Bears coach?
Eberflus?
No, before Eberflus.
There's been so many bad.
The one who won Coach of the Year with Trubisky as his quarterback. He actually won the award twice. After like people fell off him again and they suck again, he had a good. This is the Dayball look. Yeah, Dayball profiles as the guy who could win it a second time.
Matt
and
Nagy.
It's the Stefanski.
It was Matt Nagy. It was It's the same handicap.
Man, they had such a run of like Lovie Smith, John Fox. There was the CFL Mark Trestman. Oh my God, man, the Bears. Oh, that's been a rough go.
We turn it around this year. All right, let's recap. Let's recap these teams. I started off and got Ben Johnson, Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, and Brian Daboll. Flup, you got Mike Vrabel, Kyle Shanahan, Aaron Glenn, Brian Schottenheimer. Rob, you got Liam Cohen, Pete Carroll, Dave Canales. George, you got Jonathan Gannon, Mike McDonald, Raheem Morris, and Brian Callahan. Listen, I thought this draft was going to go a lot differently than it's gone so far. I thought I'd get a couple of the guys that I wanted later on the draft. Had to take them earlier because you guys took the guys I like. I don't know if that's good for you or bad for me, or I don't know what the case is here. But I'm just gonna be. I don't want to be a slave to the odds boards, and I feel like I'm gonna have to though. Based on recent news, Rob, you reacted to this and said coach put his nuts on the table and decided this quarterback's going to start. I'm going to go with a different angle and say a quarterback for this team put his nuts on the table and is dating one of the hottest girls I've ever seen my entire life in Madison Beer. Give me Jim Harbaugh, because we all saw what happened when Justin Herbert was playing in that game against the Denver Broncos and Madison Beer was there. If Madison Beer is there then we got generational MVP Justin Herbert coming in the fold. And if that happens, we're going to see the Chargers win over their expected win total of 9 wins here. Listen, I really have no other angle to take than the Madison Beer angle. Hopefully it wins me a Coach of the Year pool. But if not, then I'll never be mad banking on Madison Beer.
It's a good pick. I think it's a good pick. I mean, it's a big culture guy, right? Like, and I think the Chargers' expectations this year are much lower than they have been in a long time. They're always like the sleeper team to come out of the AFC, and now they're the 3rd best team in the division on the odds board. So, yeah, I don't mind that pick.
Also, slightly my problem with the way we use expectation is the way that we as bettors view expectation is a lot different than how the media views things, right? We look at win totals. We understand where the market perceives they will be. But I have a feeling like why I like the New England Patriots, the Mike Vrabel pick, is we all know that they have a chance to win. Like, they're essentially a coin flip to win 8 games. But the media is going to be like, oh, wow, look at them. How have they already won 8 games? Like, this stuff I feel like is not focused on by awards voters. I could be wrong here, but hey, hopefully that doesn't bite me in the bum. Flup, you're up next.
Was thinking about a couple guys. I was debating to satisfy Kirk Evans with Kevin O'Connell, but I decided to go a different route. Same division. I'll go with Matt LaFleur. Don't want to back a coach that just won Coach of the Year. Not a fan that he won 11 games last year and has decent expectations, but media seems to love Matt LaFleur. He gets a lot of hype for calling his own plays, and they're fans of Jordan Love. He's been in the mix the past couple of years, and I think that some might feel it's his time. So I'll go with Matt LaFleur.
All right, Matt LaFleur for Mr. Flup No Lied. Rob, 3rd pick of the 5th round. Who you got?
Yeah, so we're getting to the point now where we have to make some reaches, and I'm definitely not high on this team, but I think you have like the top end coaches where realistically some of these guys need to win 15, 16, maybe even 17 games to win versus a guy like Kellen Moore with the Saints where expectations are at like completely bottom of the barrel. This is a 1st-year head coach in a winnable division with a team that has like an offensive tilted identity. And I think if the offense is good, he will get a lot of credit for that. I don't expect it to happen, but listen, I'm holding some Tyler Shuck tickets. We've talked about that on Forward Progress before. I think that the receiving core, if Chris Olave cannot have another concussion, Olave, Shaheed, Cooks is pretty solid all around. There's a possibility for the offense to be good. So I don't think it's a high probability, but I prefer someone like this versus, the top end coaches that are still remaining out there. So give me Kellen Moore.
All right, that's a fair angle you got there. Kellen Moore, you'll add him to those tickets that you have. One thing I won't be worried about, Rob, is that I know for a fact you'll be warm during the winter as you burn up those tickets. George, you're up next, back to back. Who you got?
Yeah, what I find fascinating about this award is I think the two best describers of what this award is the fact that it's 1983 is like the last time we ever got a back-to-back winner. There's a baked-in bias. Like once you're that good, it's expected the next year. We can't give it to you. And the other one is this: like Andy Reid and Bill Belichick are the two greatest coaches of all time, or at the very least of our lifetime. And combined, they've only won the award 4 times.
Well, maybe not Rob's. I mean, Rob's like 100 years old, but
true. Jimmy Johnson for me. Sorry, George.
Yeah, no problem.
But the same age, no?
Jimmy Johnson for me too.
Me and George are born on the same day, the exact same day of the same year.
Yeah. Rob, you said a comment on a video that's coming out about you and Hitman are the old guard. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm on the stream with you, and we have the exact same age.
Well, you have your hair. Hitman and me don't. That's
that's what it was. So I said, and Belichick, it took like 14-2, 14-2, and 16-0 to win the award. So if you're gonna take a high end coach, you almost need 15 wins in this era to have a chance. So first, I'm gonna pick something that's a narrative based award. I said, what's the situation where I can see this award? I'm going to really corner the NFC West now. I said, what if Stafford gets hurt for 6-7 games and he goes 5-1 with Jimmy G? Sean McVay, and if they get to 11, 12 wins with that injury, Sean McVay is going to get a ton of credit for that. So I'm going to take Sean McVay here, Coach of the Year.
All right, Sean McVay, Coach of the Year for your first pick here. But George, you have another one that's going to close out the draft for you. So, first pick of the 6th round. Who you like?
So I'm going to moonshot. I'm going to say who can win 16 or 17 games and really get that look. And I'm going to go with I think is the best team in football. And they've got probably 4 easy wins in division, and maybe even they could go 6-0 in the division. I'm going to take John Harbaugh and Baltimore. And if they go 16-1, 17-0, that's my moonshot play here.
All right. 4 easy wins in the division. I think 2, but 4?
I'm done with the voodoo. It's over.
All right.
No way.
You can never be out on the voodoo.
I am out on the voodoo.
George is out on the voodoo at his own demise. That's all right. All right, George, you rounded it out there with Sean McVay and John Harbaugh. Rob, you got one more pick. Who you got?
Yeah, I can't even believe I'm going to do this. But you know what? The guy looks like me, so I'm going to lean into it. And I'm going to take Mike McDaniel. I mean, I think going into the year, the sentiment on McDaniel from the general public is a 0 out of 10. He's lost the locker room. He's an insane person. He's crazy. I don't like the Dolphins, but they have their quarterback healthy going into the year now. We've seen when they have had Tua in the lineup that they've had a lot of success offensively. Again, this is just an if this happens type of thing, but I think he's kind of like the last coach available here as far as I'm concerned, where, the team has very, very little expectations going into the year, and it's not, completely out of the realm of possibility that they surprise. I mean, they're plus 210 to make the playoffs in the current market. I wouldn't bet that. I think the fair line is closer to plus 300. But if they make the playoffs, any team that goes in with expectations this low, the coach is going to get a look. So I'm going to do it. I hate doing it, especially on videos with George, because he's going to hold it against me for the entire year.
That's a good shout right there. I like that.
Mike McDaniel.
And even if he gets hurt and Zach Wilson goes 3-0, he's going to get all the credit again.
Well, I mean, listen, we're closer to the apocalypse than Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson will not win any games. Trust me, I know him too well.
Although, you know what? Jets quarterbacks, they go elsewhere and all they do is win. You know,
Yeah,
Geno turns into a stud. Darnold's a stud. Who knows with Zach? Who knows?
What did you just say?
Yeah.
Darnold's a stud?
Well, he was last year.
I mean, that's just okay.
That is getting.
Was Darnold not a stud last year?
He won
he'll be a stud this year too.
Games.
He'll be a stud this year too.
You know who was a stud? Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson were studs last year.
Well, you know what? He went to another team. He put up big numbers. They won a lot of games. You know what didn't happen when he was with the Jets? They didn't win games. Like that's what I'm talking about here.
That's all good.
Well, speaking on this narrative, this kind of leads me to my pick. I was debating about somewhere in the AFC North. Kevin Stefanski, good pick. He's won it before. Their expectations are in the cellar, but I just think the team's a dumpster fire, and I don't think they're going to do anything. Zach Taylor, I hate him. I want him to leave and free Burrow. Not a fan of Tomlin anymore, but I'll back him here. One of the most long-tenured coaches in the league, never won the award, could deserve it, and it's 2025. Race has to play a factor here. He's a black head coach. I'm being serious when I'm saying this.
I actually do think it is a part of the factors. Yes.
Yes. And
you're still canceled though, by the way, Flup. So I mean, just yeah.
Hey, look, I play the angles where they matter here. Well, no, I'm not afraid of shooting an angle. And as Rob just mentioned, Aaron Rodgers was the Jets quarterback. He left. And they'll do much better with the Steelers. And, you know, Tomlin and Rodgers have had some, fun history before. I remember the time where Tomlin tried to get him, Rodgers tried to get Tomlin off the 12 men on the field, and Tomlin called the timeout. I saw that nice bonding moment. I think they'll get credit together, not just all of Rodgers. So if they go 12-5, 11-6, I see them winning it.
Plus, you have the added component of if they're doing well, Rodgers is going to be on McAfee every week.
Yes,
He's
exactly.
Spinning Tomlin's tires. You know what? I don't hate this. I really don't hate it.
All right. So it's Mike Tomlin going to Flup's team. And I mean, this is a tough one for me because there's really not much to choose from here. It's just kind of like throwing a dart.
You could give an extra coach to the audience if you're feeling really nice.
I'd rather not. I feel like whoever I pick here won't win anyways.
Why don't give him to the audience then? No.
Or take the worst. Take the worst option. Let the audience get the audience have.
Why don't you be
take the worst option? All right, I'll take the guy who I think is the least likely to win here, and I'm gonna go with D'Amico Ryans. That was obviously a joke. I don't think he's the least likely of those available. I just want to go with D'Amico Ryans because again, they play in an easy division. As George said, they have John Harbaugh, who has 4 easy wins in the division. I see 6 easy wins in the division for the Houston Texans. How putrid the rest of this division is. Including the Jaguars.
This is obviously one of the most competitive divisions, no matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
All right. But you know what? I think, again, just going to bank on CJ Stroud being a good quarterback, coming back to form, going to bank on a defense that's strong, and then hope that D'Amico Ryans somehow gets the credit for it if they get a 12 or 13 win season. So
are you going with the using the same angle as Flup with Tomlin as well?
I did not think that through, but
I'm
sure.
Just wondering if you're stealing the angle as well.
I'm not stealing any angles. It's all good. Maybe next time I'll steal the angle, but that's all right. Anyways, that wraps up the draft here today. I'm going to quickly run through each team. I was able to get Ben Johnson, Sean Payton, Dan Campbell, Brian Daboll, Jim Harbaugh, and D'Amico Ryans. Flup, you were able to get Mike Vrabel, Kyle Shanahan, Aaron Glenn, Brian Schottenheimer, Matt LaFleur, and Mike Tomlin. Rob, you went Liam Cohen, Pete Carroll, Dave Canales, Shane Steichen, Kellen Moore, and Mike McDaniel. George, you got Jonathan Gannon, Mike McDaniel, Raheem Morris, Raheem Morris, Brian Callahan, Sean McVay, and John Harbaugh. And a reminder, you, the audience, have a chance to win. 4 of you have a chance to win $250 if any of those coaches. Wow. Coaches listed on the screen here. If any of those guys don't win and the 8 remaining do win, Dan Quinn, Kevin Stefanski, Sean McDermott, Todd Bowles, Zach Taylor, Andy Reid, or Nick Sirianni, if any of those guys do win, you guys have a chance to win $250. All you have to do is like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on Twitter. So make sure you do that. Also, let us know who you think had the best team in the comment section down below. And you could say the audience has the best team. Whatever you guys want to say, it's up to you. Anyways,
don't say Jason has the best team. Please, we'll ban you from the channel if you do.
We won't ban you. Don't worry. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.